Hello and welcome to the Media Bubble Podcast. With me, your host Karol, and my co-host Fredrik.
Hooray!
Today, we're tackling on a difficult, horrendous, eye-watering topic.
Oh, it's so traumatizing, okay.
It's really traumatizing, because today we are talking about...
Manga and comics.
Exactly.
One thing that was interesting about this episode is that usually I give rules about how many we should have in an episode to talk about, or I give a theme. I didn't do this for this one, and I found that without a theme, it was almost harder, because then I was like, what should I do? How do I make this?
Yes, because...
many should I include?
Do you pick out stuff you have on your shelf? Because that was my first idea, but then I thought, well, there's also other stuff that I read that I don't really own physically. So what should I talk about?
Well, I guess we're getting to that point a bit later. There are some stuff that I own, and there are some stuff that I read. I'm not going to tell how I read them, but...
Very legally.
Yeah, exactly.
So just for a quick heads up, this is a similar deal to what we did in a previous episode, or I don't know which number this is if I'm getting ahead of myself, but we have picked up some titles, both for comics and for manga, which we consider to be standout titles. And standout means that it's just something that's really interesting to us, that maybe we can recommend. It doesn't mean that it's good. It's just something that it stands out in our opinion. So, without further ado, I'm gonna go with my picks first.
Do you want to start with comics or
mangas
first?
Let's go with mangas.
Yeah, okay.
So...
Karol is going to start, and I'm going to, I guess, take my picks a little bit later.
Yes. So, first and foremost, Beast Complex. Yeah. I own all 3 publicly released volumes, and Beast Complex 4 is coming out next year for purchase.
I find it a bit funny that I'm on the top left corner, I read Beast Complex. On the bottom right, I see Beastars.
Anyway. No, they are from the same author.
Oh, okay.
And they're connected. So, basically, I like Beast Complex. They are short one-shots, sometimes with a follow-up. And
you have something about animals living like real human beings. When I think about it, there was another series about a polar bear that you were really into also.
Yes,
I remember.
Polar Bear Cafe. I was like, are you really calling me a furry?
I'm not calling you anything. That's for you to decide.
No, that's not for you to decide. I'm not. But Beast Complex.
I gotta say that it's really, you can make a point for you being maybe one, but anyway.
Okay, so as I said, it's one shots about this world with anthropomorphic animals. There's a lot about sexuality, race, customs, relationships. The author provides songs to listen to while you read specific chapters, and they also give insight to the relationship between the characters in the story. They connect sometimes back to Beastars. There are chapters that happen in the story and also act as an epilogue chapters to the story. We see side characters being explored in Beast Complex. There are so many unique ideas in that story, and I've spoken to you about it before.
Yeah. There was once upon a time that we were supposed to do an episode about Beastars, and you recommended me to watch at least one episode, and so I did. We never made an episode about it, but...
Well, we could talk about it at the end, since you've already seen Beastars.
Can I just say that Beastars was not what I was expecting? I was thinking that these two characters were adults. It was like a detectives series, and then I was like, oh, these two are in high school.
It is. Let's talk about Beastars. So Beastars is, if you've been on the internet, the series about an anthropomorphic wolf going to school in a very highly segregated society, and it's a coming of age story.
Kind of like Zootopia.
Yes, I mean that's a valid comparison. And basically, they leave school at some point. They don't go to school anymore. They get jobs. They live outside. There's a lot of, well, weird stuff happening. I think I think it's the author has a good idea and how to create an interesting hook and world, but her story fizzled out a little bit at the end. Because there's a lot of concept being introduced, like what about if there's like mixed race children? What happens with them? There's a villain that happens to be mixed race.
Oh.
Is this only it's melon? So basically, further ahead, you have a antelope that is like an antelope mixed with a cheetah, and he has no senses. Like everything he eats is just like sand. He gets off on pain. It's the only like feeling he can get, and it's implied that a lot of the mixed species relationships, children, they also have the same affliction. Not all of them. Like Legoshi also turns out to be some kind of type of deal. He's also like a Komodo dragon.
Okay.
It's weird. There's also, you know, JoJo?
JoJo Bizarre Adventure.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also stands in Beastars. It's so weird. But the basic premise, the characters, and the length the author is willing to go to show the prejudice between the herbivores and carnivores is really interesting. Tokyo Ghoul.
Just a great manga.
Yeah, like since we made me read it, I can't really stop thinking about it. Like every second week I think about Tokyo Ghoul.
Okay.
Like even when I spoke about how I like began talking about manga with my friends, with my other friends, and they're like, Tokyo Ghoul, and it's like, I thought this was like a big manga.
The unfortunate thing about Tokyo Ghoul is that it kind of the anime and fan things that have sometimes is put out with it is kind of ruining a bit of the manga's.
The anime is kind of ruining perception of the manga.
Yeah, also some aspect of the fans are doing that as well, because they are trying to really do the edgy thing. And
yes.
While Tokyo Ghoul, the manga is edgy, but it has like a line that it doesn't cross, you can say.
Yes, there is. It's not edgy for being edgy. Next up, Elden Ring. I'm gonna harp on about this manga how many times I can because it's free to read. It's been distributed online. It's a monthly release. I did not care about Elden Ring before reading this. Honestly. I was just thinking...
Elden Ring, the game, doesn't have that much of a story.
It does have a lot of lore. But the deal is, you as a character, being mute, you can't really, say stuff to characters. A lot of things is predetermined. There's not a lot of wiggle room for you to do stuff.
Yeah.
There's 4 endings and that's it. This is a comedy what if where some things change, some people are changed, it's like exaggerated, but it's fun. You have a main character who has a character. And all the goofy, silly stuff that happens also contributes to like getting more personality to characters that NPCs that don't really have a story. Oh my god, what's the name of this manga? Demon Sword Daily Life.
Demon Sword Daily Life?
Yes. Basically, it's the same author as the Elden Ring manga. That's how I even learned about Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
One day, this is a world. You can see it's a fantasy story. There's 2 girls. And one has a magical sword that's a demon.
Oh, that is a sword, okay.
And the other one has a cell phone.
Doesn't really seem like that, okay.
This is a gag manga. Basically, the story is there are three characters. The little sister, there's also a main character guy who hates his job.
What does he work as?
He works at
in an office. Oh.
No, at a takoyaki stand, I think.
Okay.
And that's his best friend that lives close, and she's a businesswoman. And basically, this sword is an all-powerful alien being that crashes down, and his life's mission is to annoy the main character guy. He also sports legs. He also has legs later. It's just a sword and legs.
Oh, okay.
And he's just an all-powerful, and shenanigans just happen around them. And I don't know, I just think the art style with just the insanity of it is so good. There's like demon lords and like other enchanted swords. There's like a like a
Is this still ongoing?
no, it finished before Elden Ring started serializing.
Okay.
Give it a read. It's finished.
Here's one thing that I'm just wondering. Little spoiler tag here. How does it end?
Very well, very nicely.
Oh.
I mean, the big brother is still overworked. I think I think when like he loses the job at one moment, but he understands that being overworked and exploited makes him happy. He just loves being miserable. And there's a whole big deal about the end of the world, but I don't really remember how it ends.
Something that I try to explain sometimes about to people is that I find it quite fun to complain.
Yes. And the main character is a professional complainer. The whole manga, he's a straight guy. And the sword, like as I said, he like transforms into like an anime schoolgirl. He like starts like an onsen in his backyard. It's shenanigans, and there's also like internet and stuff.
Oh.
Okay, next up, Land of the Lustrous. This series has a Netflix anime adaptation.
Is this a fantasy?
Sci-fi.
Okay, sci-fi. Okay.
Basically, how much do you want spoiled?
Tell me.
So, this is a tale about gemstones. There are golem-like creatures made out of gemstones that have intelligence, that have feelings, and they're being taken care of by Adamant, a mysterious being who creates these gems. They're usually genderless, but they're usually girls. Like form-like girls. Okay. And they live on this planet and are being attacked almost daily by beings from the sky.
Okay.
And we learn with time that it's not that simple. These beings from the sky are actually human souls that cannot pass on until Adamant prays for them.
Okay.
And these gems are being created by... There's basically... This is the world in the future. And the human soul these human beings have been split into three parts. The bones are the fish. The minerals are the golems. And the soul are the sky people.
Okay.
And basically, it's this tale of Foss, which is the main character, who's trying to figure it all out. But while she figures out the deal between all of these parts of the human condition, she begins to lose herself.
Okay.
Literally, she begins to lose her legs, her arms, pieces of herself. And all these pieces contain her memories, and they're being replaced by other stuff. So, the further you go, she literally, like, stops, like, her existence becomes, like, something, an amalgamation of all the other things that she becomes. Such a good... mind fucking blown.
No.
BL Metamorphosis. This is a story about BL, boys love.
Oh, okay.
A bookstore attendee. This young girl, she works at a bookstore.
Is that a girl? I thought it was a guy, actually.
No, that's two women. It is a story about them.
I see the grandma. I just thought that the other one was actually a boy.
No. So the grandma lost her husband some time ago, and she tries to fill her days with...
Wait, it's a love story between those two?
No.
Okay.
Basically, they bond over their shared love of boys' love. So It's not...
Oh, now I understand.
Yeah, they have a shared common interest and their friendship develops from there. They go to the Comic Cat, they share recommendation, they go to coffee and they talk. There's this generational difference between them, but it's very sweet. Frieren, Journey's End.
Yeah, that has become really popular actually.
I sometimes look at manga, but I sometimes watch the anime for some scenes, but I'm mostly interested in manga.
I actually thought that was based on a book series.
That might be the case.
Well, anyway, it has a manga that you have read.
Yes. And the story, and I like just the idea of magic in this setting. Of magic being so powerful that mages only learn offensive magic because usually the defensive ones are just incapable of protecting them. Like, magic is so powerful that magic users are not athletes. They don't jump around. It's not shown. It's very calm. It's very, like, whatever happens, happens. It's just like the one meme, like somebody cast a level 5, turn their skin inside out. What am I doing here with, like, casting fire spells? This is it. And
one thing that I remember from watching the anime of it was the scenes where, like, in the beginning of the story, she has a party.
yes.
And they does this thing that saves the whole village and things like that. 100 years later, it's kind of just interesting to see the aspect of time change, the aspect of how things are viewed.
That's basically what happens.
And how further in time, that thing that they did that people praised them for, no one is going to really maybe even remember it.
Yeah. And even if they remember, it could be twisted. It could be like... Because Frieren and her friends, they saved the world from the Demon King. But it's been already so long. So people's memory of the event is going to change.
Yeah.
And the governments are going to use the legend of your heroic deeds to strengthen their own political power. Suddenly, the party is not just... Their images are like transformed into like being more masculine, feminine. They're being more heroic, more muscular.
Yeah. That was an interesting aspect actually, because there's not a lot of many stories that does that.
Yeah.
And it works because she is an elf and they live on.
Yeah. Because usually in stories like this, like, let's say in Lord of the Rings, like, Legolas is old, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really seem like he's that much different from all of his other companions. But Frieren, because of her age, is quite different. She perceives time differently. And only now she learns to actually, like, invest in relationships.
Yeah. It's like she didn't appreciate the things that she had before it was too late.
Exactly. And now she starts to appreciate the people around her now. Look Back by Tatsuki Fujimoto.
Okay.
Do you know what it's about?
No.
So...
It's a bit hard to see. I can just see a title.
Yeah, I picked up the cover for it. But I think if you Google the picture, it's a little bit better. There's also an anime adaptation of it.
Okay.
But basically, this story is about it's a little bit tragic, time travel-y, but not really. So there are two friends.
Yeah.
Well, there's not two friends. There's only one girl right now. This girl, she's hot shit. She draws comics in school. And she got her comics published in her school's newspaper.
Oh.
And she gets the printed out ones, and she thinks, wow, my comic is... Wait, down here? This is a way better comic. Who's making this? My comics looks like shit. This is awful. I need to be better than this.
Yeah.
So she begins drawing, and she draws, and she draws, and she draws because she wants to be better than the other person that's drawing comics. And one day she begins to think, well, I'm never going to be better than her, so I'm just going to stop. Right? So she stops. She spends months and seasons, like almost all of her school time, she She just focuses on comics. She draws at home. She draws every time. But she stops. And at the end of the year, her teacher asks her to deliver grades to the person that was drawing the other comics. At this point, she's over comics. But these two meet. Turns out the other girl who was making the better comics is stuck at home. Like, she doesn't leave ever. She doesn't attend school. She doesn't leave. She doesn't have any friends. All she does is paint. But what she has is appreciation for the first girl's art. She enjoyed reading her comics every week, but suddenly she stopped. And these two become friends.
Yeah.
And we follow them as they begin drawing manga. They become friends. One is drawing the story, the other one is drawing the backgrounds. And they get into art together, but for different reasons. For the first one, that's sort of like accomplishments, praise, getting memes. For the other one, art is a little bit more like self-expression. She's confident. And she says to the first girl, I'm going to art school.
Yeah.
I don't want to do manga right now. I want to do art. And the first one says, okay, well, you were never that good anyway.
Yeah.
Your art was shit. I'm actually better off without you. And their friendship breaks. And we see how different their lives become. How much distance grows between them. And what happens afterwards when one of them vanishes. And how it's like this big exploration of friendship and... Not big, it's a one-shot. But it's an exploration of friendship and motivation. Because their motives for pursuing arts are so different.
This whole thing is a one-shot.
Yes. It's by the creator of Chainsaw Man. He writes such interesting stories. Like, also Goodbye Eri is very good. It's about a guy that makes a movie for his dying mom, but nobody takes his movie seriously until he meets this one girl who pushes him to make a freaking awesome movie.
Yeah.
I heartily recommend Look Back. Also, creator of Land of the Lustrous, she also does one-shots.
Yeah.
There is also another one-shot. It's about two siblings, and one of them is about taking photos, a photographer, and the other one is a scientist.
Yeah.
And the scientists eat mussels that transform her body into a shell. It's really also weird science fiction-y about giving up part for yourself to become part of the sea. Insane. Honorable mention. If I could, I would put Dungeon Meshi into this. But I already did it with anime.
Yeah, I remember.
There's only so much time I can talk about Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah.
But it's fucking good. Read Dungeon Meshi. And these are my comics.
Yeah, we have Squirrel Girl, She-Hulk, and Homestuck, and
Yes.
this does not surprise me, actually.
Yeah. There's been multiple times where I talk about these comics on this podcast.
Especially Squirrel Girl.
I have her physical comics.
Yeah.
It's such a good run. Ryan North writes Doreen Green so wonderfully. She can really convince any bad guy to being good a go. Also, she's like she's like a Mary Sue, but she's so charismatic. She does stupid decisions, but it's like she always sees the good in everyone. She-Hulk is also great. I love how she's written like a woman with problems, and it's also a lot of cartoon drama.
Isn't it revealed at one time that Squirrel Girl had a relationship with Wolverine?
It's a little bit changed in this one. It's like Doreen explaining that she had a really weird crush on Wolverine.
Okay.
She's over that.
Ah.
And Homestuck, of course. Andrew Hussey owns my soul. I sold it forever ago.
Okay.
It's still ongoing. There's Homestuck 2, which updates. I told you about Homestuck before.
Yeah, you have at some point.
It's 4 kids play a game that causes the end of the world. They are being advised by aliens that also played the game before. They reset the universe because of a bug. And their parents also played the game, were also being advised by trolls. And there's also a world-ending entity called Lord English. And now that the game is finished, there's a whole 2 universes because they split.
Mm.
One is ruled by a fascist. The other one, there's some fucking Greek god shit going on. And they're gonna play the game again.
Oh. So the author was like, I want to continue writing.
No.
Say.
Basically, after Homestuck, Andrew Hussey wrote the epilogues. And it was basically choose your own adventure. Do you want a happy-go-lucky fanfiction ending, or do you want a, like, story closure?
I don't like that, actually. I like one definitive ending.
Yeah, people didn't like that. That's fucking sucked. So, basically, afterwards, he thought, okay, well, I can continue this. So he gave the rights to Homestuck to a team that's going to write. But he said, okay, you need to include this, 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 and this. And basically, it became 2 universes in one story. It just became so much. That was my rant. Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Any questions?
No. I did that.
You did. You did have questions.
Ask some question while we were going on.
You did. I just feel like I'm like once I get myself going, I just keep
the
like
thing
a waterfall.
The thing that is a bit hard for me sometimes is that I see your passion, I see your arms moving, and you're talking fast, and sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to
jump in.
No, not to jump in, to follow through with all you're saying. But I don't know. It's.
So let me take this one more time.
No. Your passion is wonderful.
But you know, I've seen an episode of Hello from the Magic Tavern. I'm gonna do a little detour. And they finally made a video of the recording. And I thought that they record similarly. Like, I talk with eye emotion, we look at each other, we do like hand stuff. We do hand stuff. And they put out the video about how they record, and they just sit still.
Well, I don't move my hands as much as you do.
But you turn, you move, you look at me, and they, like, basically, Arnie, Adolorify, and Matt Young. Matt Young also like, does gestures. But, like, Arnie Niekamp, he just sits very still, very calm, and it's like, and asks, like, and what did you think of this? What did you think of that? Should we do this? And it's like, how do they sit so still? Detour over. Now we sort of back into the main road, which is the comics and manga.
Like, I move a little my chair, but I'm kind of still, like, I probably could sit still this whole episode.
I couldn't. I'm like...
Okay, to my part in the episode. The first part, we're going to go through my manga choices.
Yes.
And the first I have is something I call the Big Three. And these are kind of the main three that I
Naruto,
like
Bleach,
the most.
and One Piece.
Yeah, not those three, but actually one of them is here. One Piece. Because, boy oh boy, do I like One Piece. And One Piece is kind of special because it has been so long running. Actually, I have a picture of these 3 mangas here, but I also have I have done a bit too much work on this, because not having any rules made me do a bit too much. So I have done something else. I have another slide which have some of the panels on them.
Also, one question before you go.
Excuse
this?
Excuse me, wrong slide. Oh, here's the right slide. Let's see. We have One Piece, which is this incredible long adventure which has built its world up so much with also this pirate crew of individuals that you join and trying to go for their own goal, but it's really about kind of discovering this big world and following through this amazing adventure that we're going through with One Piece and the emotions that some of these characters have gone through. And I don't know, it's kind of just amazing on how long running and how good and well thought out it is.
You know, I could never get into One Piece. I've read it. The later chapters, like, it just feels so intimidating with everything that's going on in this single panel.
There are some events that it takes a long time for it to get going. The beginning of One Piece is a bit slow. Then I don't know. I just found that the world building and the whole adventure aspect, and kind of also the format of you can make individual stories depending on the island you come to. It's like, oh, that island has a story, but and that island has a story. So it's kind of like you're doing different stories in the same story.
Kind of a little bit like a Monster of the Week. Monster of the Island.
We have Diamond No Ace, which is a baseball manga. And I started reading this. I got really into this. I really got into these character and their search of becoming like the best of baseball team in high school. Like the character's personality and how there's a rivalry in the team itself. Like the one that is trying to be a pitcher, he has a rival with someone that is the same year as him, and all these different team battle they does. It surprised me how much I got into it. There's one time that they actually lose, and it's a devastating loss, and I actually really felt for these characters.
Aww.
So it's I don't know. There's just something about it that I really got into this sport manga about baseball. A bit surprising, but
I mean,
and then
before I got into Uma Musume, I didn't get the appeal of sports anime. So I kind of get it now.
Well, sports anime kind of is more about the characters themselves and their development and the goal and drive. Then we have Grand Blue. I reread a little bit of Grand Blue before we made this episode, and also to find a bit of panels to use. There were some moments that I laughed out loud, like the comedy of that manga is my comedy. Like I don't know how this author does it, but it's always so brilliantly funny to me. It's about a guy that enters college. He moves in with his cousins, you can say, and there's this diving club where he lives. And this diving club is crazy. They are always drinking, and they are always kind of naked, and there always are these weird scenarios happening, and the characters are wonderfully over the top all the time, you can say. And it surprised me because there's always somehow a way to evolve to make it even funnier. It's like, oh, this is the first joke, then we're going to build on this, and we're going to build and build and build, and somehow it always works. I also put some other mangas here that will come up a bit later on, but I found that I had a bit of place here, so I put it here. We have Vinland Saga, which is just a brilliant manga. You have probably heard of it. It's a Viking revenge tale. It's really good. Tokyo Ghoul, we have talked about it in the past, so I thought I won't talk about it right here and now. But yeah, Tokyo Ghoul. That was kind of the big three for me. Then we have the Magnificent Eight, which is mangas that I enjoy, and all of these have also gotten an anime adaptation. at some point of their life. I will have another slide with mangas without an anime adaptation.
Alright.
I've already talked about Vinland Saga and Tokyo Ghoul. I have also made a panel for this one. Oh, sorry, I'm not sure how this keeps happening, but wrong slide again.
Let me touch your boobs, don't get cocky.
Do you want to say some more of this?
No, they look great.
Okay, here we have the slide. We have an old manga called Cat's Eye, which is from the 80s, which is kind of this police and chief manga about these young adult ladies who owns a cafe called Cat's Eye, and the middle child also has a boyfriend which is a police, and she gets a lot of info from that police without him knowing it, and he is trying to capture these chiefs called Cat's Eye, and without knowing it he is trying to capture his girlfriend, I guess. And that's kind of the premise, but it's weirdly it turns out to be more of a let's say slice of life manga as it goes on. It's more comedy than you probably would expect. It's kind of slice of life, and the main focus becomes much more about this middle child and the police kind of love. That's kind of the center of it, yeah, I don't know, it was just something easy and fun to read with an adult cast, I guess. We have
It feels kind of like fate, you know. Maybe she gave me tissues at just the right time because she'd been watching me at school, which is why she treasures the scarf. This happens all the time, and this happens in manga all the time.
Yeah, that's kind of like one aspect of things that I like is kind of romance, and that is something called Nijiro Days, or Rainbow Days for translation, and it's kind of just 4 high school dudes with all of their own kind of romance going on, and I don't know, for some reason I'm a sucker for romance. So
I'm beginning to see.
So that kind of aspect of it, yeah, I kind of read that and found 4 intriguing different love stories all happening at once.
I also see another love story, Tower of God.
Is that a love? That's
No,
not
it's
a love.
not.
Have you read something of that?
A little bit. Isn't it not actually a manga but a manhwa?
Yeah, it is. But I included it here because...
Sure.
Yeah. And anyway, Tower of God kind of has the same thing with one piece of this world building, and it's going on like for forever, and just how it builds its worlds up. And I gotta be honest, Tower of God, some aspect of it, I feel like some things are drawn out a bit too much. It's not a perfect read, I feel like, but I don't know, there are some aspect of it, of the world. I guess I just like world building, and that one has a lot of it.
Do you maybe know if Tower of God is still ongoing? Or
It's still ongoing. It's
still
nowhere close ending. There's a lot of it still going on. We have
Who's the naked lady?
Shokugeki no Soma, Food Wars. I think I've heard of that one.
I know which series this is. I just never would have guessed it's from Food Wars.
Food Wars is interesting because I really liked it, but there came a point which I felt, okay, now it has turned really bad. There's one character introduced, and at one point of the series I liked the progress, and I liked the school, and I liked this. Then the character that you see here, her,
Yeah.
she's a student of the school, and her father appears in the story suddenly, and from that point on I felt like it was just downhill for this manga. Like I liked it so much in the school aspect and learning about food, and they're battling other students and things like that. And when her father appears in the story, I just felt, okay, now this just went downhill.
How so? Is it because her father like played some part, or
well, he changed the story quite a lot, because it was kind of like this arc of trying to climb the ladder of the school. There was like this top 10, and we're going to trying to reach that top 10 and be included and things like that. Then I felt like when he entered the story, it just did like 180, and now we're doing a different story arc than what I thought, and to me it just didn't work. Or
maybe you feel dissatisfied because it like if the arc changes so drastically, then it's maybe like unfinished from the tournament arc.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like the story did a 180, and like it felt like we were progressing on this stage, and then the author was just like, okay, now we're doing this instead.
That sucks. Like, I always felt like Food Wars would be my thing. I love food in manga. I just never had like any, like, oh, I gotta read Food Wars.
Let's see, we have Barakamon, which I kind of like reading relaxing things. You kind of just slice of life, slow paces. Barakamon is kind of like that. It's a man that lives in the city and has his living of being a drawer of specific letters, you can say. And he gets kind of a bad review, you can say. He needs a break kind of from everything. He goes to this relaxing island or village, and it's kind of just a slice of life and taking things slow and the little adventures of life, you can say. I think that was all of the Fantastic 8. My last category is the
Fantastic Five. Before it was Magnificent 8.
Oh, a Magnificent 8. Now it's the Fantastic 5, which is 5 mangas that I at some point read that does not have an anime adaptation. And of course I have done one more of these.
Boys Abyss.
Oh, sorry, I
don't think you can show it on YouTube, man.
I don't know how this keeps happening. That one I can't. That one I have to blur out.
My best friend walked in as I was nurturing my love. Oh my goodness! So have you read my nectar to Oma-kun's batch of cookies. I also wanted Oma-kun to have taste of these feelings of mine.
That one is really disturbing, actually.
Jesus Christ! Have you played Persona 5? I feel like that could be your thing.
Well, I don't know how this keeps happening, but there's something about my computer that is turning out the wrong pictures. Oh, here we have the correct ones.
I didn't know we could include those two. I'd expand my list if that was the case.
Here's the thing, there are some that I'm very well aware of that I have to blur out on that page. Let's see, what do we have here? We have Family Compo, which is the same author from Cat's Eye, which is about a guy that has just lost his father, and these relatives of his, which includes his cousin, which he's never really had in his life before, comes into his life. He moves into them. He discovers that the parents of this family are both cross-dressers. One cross-dress into a man, and the other one is a... So they both are cross-dressing. They have a daughter together. And even though I'm telling this, that's not really that important into the actual manga, because the manga kind of quickly... It's like an aspect of the manga that is there, but it's
not the main point.
It kind of turns out to be a slice of life again.
That reminds me of a very similar series.
And I don't know, it kind of feels like this author just creates these scenarios and then all to sell the manga, and then he just kind of does slice of life. And I don't know, this series is again, it for some reason it's just easy for me to read. The characters are fun, it's adventurous, it's slice of life again, and I don't know, it was just something that I really enjoyed. If you wonder about this picture, it's actually him that is the man and she is the girl.
I don't know. That just looks. I mean, that's a straight couple
but
to
she
me.
but she has the genitals.
She's in a suit and he's in a skirt.
She has the genitals of a man and he has the genital of a woman. I have taken
Wait, you have to explain to me. So, because you mentioned that the parents were cross-dressers, right?
Yeah. In that page, he told them that you have to go as your original sex.
Ah, okay.
So
okay, I get it. I thought this was the scene where they cross-dress.
No, that is an aspect of the series, is that if you're just looking at this character, they don't look like cross-dressers. Then we have...
it's so queer, it loops back to being straight. That's so cool.
Let's see, we have The Breaker, which is again kind of a manhwa, which I have included. It's kind of a fighting manhwa. It's about someone that gets bullied. He meets this teacher. They become an apprentice and student. That relationship later on doesn't work out too good because the teacher kind of betrays the student's trust. So then later on it becomes a series about the student versus his former teacher. I don't know, in the beginning it doesn't feel that special, but the more you read of it, especially the sequel, which is The Breaker's New Wave,
Yeah.
that I found really evolved it, and it became really good, and it's a martial arts as well. We have The Drops of God, which is kind of a series about the tastes of wine.
Can I just add, the cover of The Drops of God looks like a BL cover. Like, this could be about like them, boys being boys with bros. Please mention that there's come on, the rich bouquet of Oni-chan's.
Well, it's kind of about finding and tasting wine, I guess you can say about that one.
It should have been about boys kissing boys.
Boys abuse.
Abyss.
This one is a bit interesting to talk about because it's kind of about depression, you can say. The main character and the main character girl in this series really have thoughts about... Oh, how am I going to talk about this in a YouTube video? They have thought about...
Ending it all.
Yeah, ending it. Have you read this?
No.
They have thoughts about killing themselves, and... I'm not going to go into details on how that turns out in the end, but it has a surprisingly long run for that premise, and yeah, it's kind of a series about depression, you can say, but I don't know, there was something that just capturing about this. Now, I'm not really... I have never really been to that point of life where I really felt that depressed of ever thinking these thoughts. But I don't know, it was still interesting to read about, I guess. If you have those thoughts, there's professional help you can get.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers you can call. And there are suicide hotlines you can... I mean, look, I feel like with you don't have to be... you don't have to relate to these characters to be interested in how the author talks about mental health.
No, I just feel like when you are talking about such a subject, you maybe should mention that. But I'm not. I don't know. It was just an interesting read about a topic that maybe I don't know that much about. Then we have Yukino to Kane wo Ku, which I think is translated something to I want to eat crab. It's about, again, weirdly enough, another man that is kind of thinking about ending his life. He realized that he has one last thing he wants to do in life, and that is to eat a crab in Hokkaido, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets this, woman before his journey begins, and she weirdly is accepting, even though he breaks into her house and everything, and they start to go on this journey together. She is kind of also in some way depressed, and it's kind of about healing their wounds together and their journey to Hokkaido to eat crab.
Okay. I was about to ask, maybe she was crab, but she's not crab.
No, she's not crab. Those were only my mangas. I have comics too. No, I'm skipping that actually. we don't have time to go in that rabbit hole.
What you call it? Like a jump scare?
I don't think we have time for me to go on that rabbit hole. Okay, I'm quickly going to talk about this rabbit hole.
You don't have to.
I'm just going to be really quick about here. We have Fairy Tail. I once really liked this series. By the progress, I understood that it was only the promise that I liked. The author itself, I found, he was not good at developing this promise that premise of this character, because every arc I started to notice was the same. It was, oh, this big character comes up. He beats this strong guy that we have seen before. How are we going to defeat him? The main character, they just defeated them.
That sounds boring.
That's a promise of like every arc I started to notice, where they just introduced this powerful character that beats this other powerful character, and we're thinking, how are our main characters going to defeat them? Oh, they just do. That's kind of what's wrong with Fairy Tail for the most part.
But you know what? It still takes some self-awareness to, like... Okay, maybe not self-awareness. But it's good that you can recognize that the thing that you enjoy maybe is not that good.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because I really liked Fairy Tail at one point, and then I did a 180.
But before me, I see some of the picks you had for comics. Way more than I had. Which was probably the point, but still.
Yeah, I started to think about it, and I also started to... I wanted to do a little bit of a mix. Where I grew up in Sweden, the most popular comic, and the most popular comic in some other European countries, like Nordic countries, Germany and Italy, I know that this is popular. We have Donald Duck comics. Yeah. Which is weirdly enough more popular in Europe than it is in USA, I have discovered.
It is.
And there are some artists that I want to discuss. The one that has a nickname, the Good Duck Artist, because they didn't get credit for the work in the beginning, is Carl Barks, which is kind of how this side of Donald Duck was created, with all these characters like Scrooge McDuck. He created them and made kind of an adventure series with Donald Duck and his nephews, and introduced a lot of aspects, introduced a city called Duckburg. And Donald Duck kind of turned in the comics into an adventure comic book, and some of course humor, because it's still Donald Duck. And that's kind of how Carl Barks gets credit for, because he was the one that developed Donald in that way.
Why wasn't he credited in the beginning?
everything what was credited as Walt Disney as kind of a marketing scheme.
Kind of like Nintendo.
Like Disney was like the name of the company, and so they just kind of credited it as Disney made everything for these young kids.
Just like a black box Disney, and it's like, yeah, cool Disney, not Carl Barks.
Then we have someone that was a fan of the Carl Barks Donald Duck comics, and he grew up, his name was Don Rosa, and I would say that he probably made the best Donald Duck comics. Like, he took what was established by Carl Barks, he tried to make a real connections in every story, because when you draw comics, it's kind of like sometimes you don't really think about how everything connects. Don Rosa kind of takes what Carl Barks build, tries to connect them, create some really cool and interesting stories, discovers more of the past of the characters, and all at the same time having this very unique drawing style and a good sense of humor too. Like, Don Rosa to me really stood out when I was reading Donald Duck comics as a kid, and I own a lot of his work because of that. Oh, if you
I am looking at your bookshelf right now.
If you actually look up here, you can see I have 3 big Carl Barks books here and 3 Don Rosa books here.
Yeah, I do see him actually. That's pretty cool.
And then here's the thing that I have discovered when people talk about Disney comics. They always talk about Donald Duck. Mickey Mouse does exist in the comics, and so I chose kind of Floyd Gottfriedson to talk about, as he was kind of the one that developed Mickey Mouse in the comics, because Mickey gets a new role because comics doesn't have sound, and that kind of also leads to some differences. You kind of have to make these characters talk a lot more in the word bubbles and things like that. And how eventually Mickey fun-loving personality developed was more that he became kind of a detective in comics, and it's an interesting aspect of how in the short cartoons Donald kind of went one way and the rest of the main character went another, because Mickey has kind of a sidekick of Goofy in a lot of comics, and I don't know, Floyd Gottfriedson was kind of the one that developed Mickey the most. Mickey started as kind of this newspaper
comic strip.
Yeah, comic strip, and he has a long history actually of that. And Floyd kind of was the one that and wrote the manuscript for those, and yeah, that's the guy that mostly contributed to Mickey Mouse in the comic aspect. We have Chris Claremont X-Men run. I think this run is very well known, and it probably is my favorite run of a superhero comics. I love the X-Men. I love this specific team of the X-Men of Nightcrawler, Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, Shadowcat. And one thing that I also liked is, I feel like a lot of comic book creators nowadays, they kind of just do those 30 issues and it's like, oh, now we're moving on to the next comic. Chris Claremont's X-Men run he built these characters for a lot of years, and the story arcs for a lot of years. Those things that he put in early in, and you kind of just have the time more to explore those aspects.
How many issues is his run?
I don't know the exact number, but really long. Then we have another I guess one of 3 X-Men series. We have Jonathan Hickman Power and House of X. This series, X-Men was kind of a low point at this point of time. Jonathan Hickman come with this new way of of the X-Men and kind of finally evolves them a little bit. They're now living in Krakoa. They're tired of how humans treat them. They take things a bit in their own hand. They create a society for mutants to live in. I would have loved if they would have continued to live in this island for more years than they ended up doing, because I found that this was an intriguing aspect of the X-Men, and I felt like that could have had more years of exploring in that aspect. And
why did they move to Krakoa? Oh, and where is the island? Is there like a specific place where the island is?
well, everything is explained in the comics. I don't have the answer right now in my head right here and now, but everything is in the comic. It explains everything, and this first issue is kind of like why they are doing this and how they are doing this. And well, you ask me why they are living in Krakoa. The easy answer is because they got tired of how human treats them, and this is a paradise for mutants. Or mutants.
For humans.
Sorry, I'm
No,
getting
no,
a bit
I get
twisted in my ears, in my words.
Not in your years. You're still young.
Thank you.
Okay,
We
next up.
have X Factor is another X-Men comic. I have done a whole video about that, so I'm not going to talk that much about it.
But in 5 words, short, why is good?
It's about a detective agency, and the mutants that works for that detective agency, they get into some crazy shit, you can say, and they have to deal with that. And yeah, how they deal with it, I guess.
All right. Next up, I see you have a picture of Spider-Woman.
I picked up this comic line of Dennis Hopeless Spider-Woman comic, and I don't know, I just really grew to like how he
Depicted.
wrote the Jessica Drew character, because I found her to be a really fun female character. And one aspect that happened, because he started writing it, events happened, and he picked up it again, but when he picked up the series again, he made her pregnant, and now she is a superhero that has a child, which
There's not a lot of children of superheroes are usually like on the sidelines. It's not the main thing
I
to read about.
I guess one thing that I also really appreciated about it was that there was an evolution of character. Because I feel like a lot of these superhero characters that have been around for a couple of years, they've stopped evolving. They are just stuck in the same place now. And one author comes in, they do one aspect of the character at the end of that run goes back to where they were in the beginning. Another author comes in, does the exact same.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this was just a bit of an evolution of a character, and I just liked how
permanent it felt.
And how it was written, how the characters actually felt like somewhat of a real characters, I guess. We have a DC comic, actually. We have Tom Taylor's Nightwing run, and this run became actually pretty well known. This was a praised run, and as I kind of said, I felt like Tom Taylor really understood Nightwing and aspect that you want to see about Nightwing. It takes back his romance with Batgirl again, and I don't know, it was just a great run.
His romance with Batgirl.
He has a history of romance with Batgirl. They are kind of the same age. Then, because we have talked a bit of super...
Is that Beastars I see?
No. You can see the name, it's not Beastars.
I know, I was just kidding.
But we have talked about a bit of superhero American comics, but the thing is, I'm not American. I'm European, and European comics were more, I feel, about adventure. And I have taken 2 series here. We have Hertz Adventure of Tintin. That one is really well known. It's about this news reporter, and they go on adventures, you can say. The different aspects of the world are explored, and it's Tintin. It's good.
Yeah, I do read Tintin now and then. When you go on yard sales, you can find some good copies of their adventures.
European comics are also made in a different way. There's like one full story drawn, while American comics were like came out weekly, parts of stories.
Exactly.
While Europeans was more, here's a full story. And Tintin has a lot of them.
Yes, because as you said, they are released as full stories, so they're not released weekly. It's like a full book. And it wasn't it the case that Tintin also had like a newspaper run? Wasn't how it started?
Yeah, kind of. I think you have some right in that actually. Tintin started
As a newspaper like comic.
yeah, I think you have right in that, because Tintin existed a bit before his kind of comic run. I know that. And then we have Black Sad, which is in terms of comic, is a newer European comic. It's not really new in aspect of the first comic came out in like 2002 or something, and it has like 7 or 8 full stories out or something like that. And it's about kind of this noir detective tales where in a world where everyone is animals. They kind of just they are drawn animals. They kind of are just humans but drawn animals.
It's just like a stylistic choice. They're basically people.
Yeah, and it's kind of this noir detective tales in like animals, and it has beautiful watercolor art, beautifully watercolor drawn, and there are some aspects of I read it kind of recently actually, and there are some things that I was surprised about, because these are animals, I kind of thought that, okay, who are going to pick this up at the store? It's probably kids. They see
I'm glad you're pointing at me when you said kids.
I didn't point at you, I just moved my hand. But the second story was about white supremacists in this animal world, and I'm like, wait, how does this work? And the author kind of just took every white animal he could think of, and it's this really deep story about white supremacy, and it goes deep into some aspects, and the comic is, I've found out, more serious than I would have expected at first, and I don't know, it's just a great kind of newer European detective comics that I think it takes place in USA, but it is drawn by 2 Spanish. It is written by a Spanish author called Juan Diaz Gonzalez, and there also is another partner that is drawing it.
Is Black Sad still being continued, or is it already finished? Because I've heard about it. I know a little bit of the characters and I know the setting, but I'm just wondering if it's still running.
I guess that depends on if the author wants to do one more. Like there was some, as I said, it has been, the first one came out in like 2001, I said, and it has 8 full stories. So they pop up a bit here and there in the time sense. I think the last one came out maybe 3 or 4 years ago or something.
But if it's watercolor and it's full stories, then it's understandable if the author wants to make a new one.
It's kind of if the author wants to. There's no conclusive ending to it. If that is what you're wondering.
That was what I was wondering. Also, that's the one I was joking. It was Beastars.
And that's kind of my comics. And oh right, I did one of the. I completely forgot that I did one of these two for it. I kind of needed the other slide for the names. But because I did all of these for the mangas, I kind of felt like, okay, I need to do one for the comics as well.
Quick question. So the X-Men comic, is it Charles Xavier or is it Cyclops with Magneto?
What did you say?
Who are these two characters?
Oh,
is it Xavier?
That's Xavier.
Oh, okay.
He, for some reason, can walk in those comics.
Okay, very cute. Two male.
Oh, I just want to show this last one picture of. While I was doing this list, I found a lot of different mangas and thought about it, and I created this thing as a kind of loving tribute to, I guess, mangas in whole. It's a lot of pictures included. Why did you look at that one directly?
It's on the screen, but I get. But besides that, I get what you're saying. It's just like to appreciate the art.
There's a lot of included here, and I don't know. I just kind of wanted to create a picture that kind of summarizes manga in some way for me. Okay. That's. I guess that's our episode of. Comics and mangas.
Yeah.
It's an aspect that we haven't talked that much about the channel, but I guess we gave now a full episode for it.
Yep. So I feel like any closing remarks?
No, I think we have talked about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think we you listeners have a chance to get.
I think you get a feeling for that we actually really like these comics and what we appreciate about them.
Like, as you were talking, I think I could have fought a little bit harder to include what comics, because there are other comics I could talk about. For example, the... Oh my god, what's the run? It was the Superior Foes of Spider-Man. That's the one I was thinking about.
That one.
I really like that.
The C-tier villains.
Yes. I always like an underdog story. But I feel like you listeners have a better grasp on what we like. Maybe we convinced you to give them a chance.
Maybe I should also mention that the two of us, you have seen a bit of what we like in comics. We are not the biggest comic guys, you might say. I
turn around to look at your huge shelves of comics. Well, yeah. Not huge shelf of comics, with comics.
I like comics, but I just mean that in our usual episode of topics, comics is not one that we have explored that much.
Exactly. Would you care for the outro?
Okay, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Media Bubble Podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and click like. Thanks for Jahzzar for a wonderful intro and outro comedy, and see you in the next episode.